Welcome to Real Talk with Sean, everybody. This evening, I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Dyna, and we're going to be talking about her struggle with addiction. And I want to thank you so much for joining me, Miss Dyna. I appreciate you for accepting my invite.
Of course, of course. Nice to meet you guys. Look forward to connecting.
Exactly, exactly. That's what's up, y'all. Because yeah, I mean that's how I found her. So we're gonna get all of her information at the end, and of course, I would love for everybody that follows me to go ahead and follow her as well. All right.
Vice versa.
Thank you. I appreciate that. How do you define addiction in your words?
Okay, so I feel like how I would define addiction would be um I say addiction to me is, and I say this all the time. I'm gonna just go ahead and give my answer here in this type of form. So to me, addiction is when you mentally have a disease that makes you do something that you have no control over anymore. So to addiction to me, how I would define addiction is I would define addiction as a disease.
When did you first realize that like substance abuse was becoming a problem?
Okay, so when I first realized that I had an addiction, well, I guess when I first realized substance abuse was an issue was my first addiction that I encountered, right? And that was with the ecstasy pills,
Hmm.
which is an upper. And I was addicted, but it wasn't my choice of drugs, so I didn't realize that really the depths of it. So when I did stop doing it, I went through the withdrawals, but it mentally prepared me and made me justify to do other drugs. I felt like I did this one and I can do that too. Because I quit that. I could do that, you know? And how I realized I had an opiate addiction of which was the with the fentanyl and the real perks and all that um was when I went out of town for with my sister. Now, I never had went without until I was without it. And that's when I realized I had an addiction or whatever. And that's when I had moved from I went to go visit my sister, and I was only there for 2 weeks. Now you have to understand, I'm doing this drug every single day, all day, never going without. So once I got on that plane and went down there, and I went and I started just going through those active withdrawals, that's when I realized, hold on, I've signed a contract. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And
I like that. Yep. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, you mentioned ecstasy was the initial drug that you first tried.
no, it was the drug I first got addicted to.
Okay, it was the first drug you got addicted to, and you said that wasn't your drug of choice. So you
No.
believe that, like, so you do believe, or do you believe that it's like you said, starting with the ecstasy, well, other drugs, but you got addicted to ecstasy. Do you believe that that was like a gateway drug to the next drug because you wanted to feel higher or you were searching for something new?
No, I don't. I'll be honest, I don't think that was the gateway for me. I
Mm.
feel like what the gateway for me that made me travel to so many different drugs was trauma. Trauma was my gateway. Trauma was my gateway drug. That it wasn't weed or it wasn't the coke or it was trauma. That was the gateway for me. That was the bridge that I crossed and made it okay in my brain to do the drugs that I was doing.
I can completely understand that because I'm one to believe that everything about a lot, not everything, a lot of the decisions we make, especially those that are bad and a lot of our behaviors, they stem from childhood. And if we don't deal with childhood trauma, whether it be being unheard, because some parents think they did a good job. But if you really pay attention to your kids, then you'll see some type of hole somewhere where they may not be discussing everything with you, or you may not be doing the job that you think you're doing.
That's
So
true. Yeah, that's right. That's
so
right.
I do believe that, and I can understand you. So when you say that, With that being said, about childhood, what do you feel you were dealing with that led you down that path?
Well, I dealt with a lot, in general, with just super I just lived in a really abusive household, with a really abusive mom that struggled with her own drug addiction and an absent father, you know. And I felt like somewhere amongst those lines I was the outlet for her to deal with a lot of the issues she was dealing with. And that's kind of how that started, if that makes sense. Or if you want me to elaborate, I could too.
No, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, so, so having mother issues and your mother being in active addiction. So do you feel that, okay, so typically one would say when you see that and you see the struggles that like what your mother was going through, knowing that it didn't look good, I'm assuming when she was going through certain phases or the things she wouldn't do for you or wasn't there for you, one would ask, why do you feel that you would take that same path knowing that it's not a good one?
Well, because number one, to be honest, and this might sound crazy, I didn't know my mom really did drugs. Like, I
Oh,
didn't know, I got older and looked back and realized a lot of those times where I was taking a lot of those physical blows, I'm looking back now and was like, she was high, because she's told me now, like, when I was at the darkest days of my addiction after my brother had passed, she told me, like, um, just like little stuff like about addicts. And then when I got sober, she did tell me, like, I'm proud of you because you were able to figure out something I still haven't figured out to this day.
yeah.
So that means with addiction. So in other words, she's still struggling with it. So I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like I really did. I knew my mom had did drugs when she was before me and while she conceived me. But I didn't know, like, I didn't know at that time that, what I'm saying? Like, and I know, in the period of the time she was supposed to have been sober, so that was just sober abuse too, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't intentionally, like, see her shooting up, see us, without a house and be like, I want to do that too. I didn't really know. I was kind of left in the blind. I felt like I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I totally can understand that. I mean, because some people can, hide it and do the necessary things that it take to be a parent or take care of their daily livelihood. So I do understand not knowing, but like you said, she took it out on you physically. So in those moments,
Emotionally
you
and
realize,
spiritually.
okay, okay, all right. And I want to back up a little bit because I neglected to tell you how proud I am of you. I
Thank
really,
you.
yes, you're welcome. Like
Thank you. I really
a lot of
appreciate you
people,
taking the time to say that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, because I truly feel that. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't say it before I even asked my first question because it takes a lot not only to go through recovery and then have to deal with still wanting it because those it's addiction, and so to have those struggling moments and not succumb to those, that takes a lot. And on top of all that, share that with the world, like share your story, because the world can be judgmental.
Yeah,
I
again.
just feel that there are a lot of people out there that will hear your story and hear your struggles and actually know that they too can overcome it. So I believe that,
So,
yeah, I know so. That's why I actually reached out to you because it's stories like yours that make me know that, all right, this is a strong young woman right here because she's coming on the forefront and sharing her story when people will judge off of anything, you know what I'm saying? Just the fact that you coming out there, I hope you get more support than negative comments, but I know your story is helping the silent ones.
amen.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of that, I really appreciate you. You make me feel good. I got deja vu while you were talking as well. So, that's really deep. But I wanted to go back to real quick the first question you asked me.
Mhm.
So, and it goes back to, I just wanted to add on to what I said to me, what defines addiction. And I say this all the time, and I just want to express this really quick to everyone. To me, right, with addiction being a disease, right?
Mhm.
right under that, you can be addicted to sex,
Okay.
school, jobs, working, the streets, men, women, shopping. You can be addicted to anything. Wine, ibuprofen. I had a homegirl that was snorting ibuprofen pills. You feel me? And Benadryls and shit. You could be addicted to anything. I had a homegirl that literally had a problem with spending money, would spend her last just to shop because she got a rush off of that. I
Hmm.
have partners that are in jail serving life because they were addicted to the streets everything that came with it. You
Yeah.
know, I have a mom right now that I feel like is addicted to, I mean, not a mom, aunties right now that I feel like is addicted to men. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And they neglect their kids or whatever the case because they're addicted to men. They're
Hmm.
addicted to lust. They're addicted to sex. They're addicted to porn. They're addicted to, an addiction. You could be addicted to anything.
I totally agree.
Once you are doing something in a repetitive cycle and you no longer are keeping track of it or
Right.
cannot control it, you are addicted. So
Absolutely.
that's
Ab-
I just wanted to chime that in there.
That was a good point. That was a good, very good point, and I 100% agree with you. There are so many addictions out here. So fentanyl is an opiate.
Yes.
And so how did you digest it? Like, did you snort it? Did you do it in a pill?
When I first, so I'm gonna give you just a little stroll down memory lane
All
here.
right. I want that. I like that.
So when I first ventured off, so
Mhm.
you have to know, I always hung out with a group of girls, six, seven girls, no less than three of us.
Mhm.
That's a lot of females.
Mhm.
And I was the friend, you know, out of my best friend and my favorite cousin, especially because that's who I was always around. I was the one who said, I cannot play with my nose. Snorting is for pigs. I would never snort no drug. I actually, at one point, used to say, I would never even do a drug.
Right.
Huh? I ain't finna do that shit. Like, I used to be that type of girl. And I definitely ain't finna be snorting. They would be passing the plate, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
get my shit and
Yeah.
ibuprofen for him. I'm finna pop it. You know what I'm saying? So how I started off, because I started off doing the Zans and the real perks, which are the fives, the tens, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So I started off popping them. Like I said, everybody else was ventured off, but I only was doing that. And that's another thing that I wanted to get into too, but so which is peer pressuring, but aside from that, I started off popping them, right? I'm doing the real perks, all that. Now, when the blues came in, now the blues are the inbox 30s. It's a little circle pill that's blue. I've heard they come in different pictures, or different colors, but the original is a small blue pill that has an M with a
Mhm.
circle, and on the back it's a 30,
Okay.
right? Those are the fentanyl pills. They're called perk 30s, but those are the fentanyl pills. So
Okay.
a perk 30 is a fentanyl pill. Any perk 30
It's a fentanyl.
it's what I'm saying, is so what happened was when I started doing those, I had stopped popping them, started snorting them, and I had overdosed. And I was real, real scared to just snort them after that from overdosing. And they used to say back where I'm from, they used to say, the Somalians used to say when my brother was alive and he'd pull up to serve people,
Mhm.
we would be selling these group of kids, not these group of kids because they're all grown, these group of guys, some or whatever, and they used to say the reason they smoked them was because you could do more without overdosing.
Mhm.
So I started, which
Okay.
is all bullshit. But
Okay.
uh but yeah, so I actually did every I started off popping them, snorting them, and then right before I quit I was smoking the fentanyl, pure fentanyl.
So, okay. Wow. So I'm learning stuff here too. So how did you smoke fentanyl?
You would just use foil, I'm
Oh,
just gonna be real brief with that because curiosity killed the cat. And
okay.
I feel like
Okay.
with me,
Okay.
I feel like with me being 18 and getting addicted and how addiction was able to smack my friends group like that, was lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that curiosity did kill the cat. You know what I'm saying? And that lack of knowledge is why I
Um,
feel like I got addicted, and also that curiousness. And that goes back to, like, to me, which I want to just say real quick, like peer pressuring. People think peer pressure and all is just this. Here,
mm-hmm.
here, hit it, here.
Mm-hmm.
That is peer pressuring. That was the peer pressure I was taught, but not the one that I got hit with. Peer pressure is, to me, you do the drug, you do the drug, and she does the drug, right? You know I don't do it. You would never even allow me to do it. And you're mediocre here, but all y'all do it, and I hang out with y'all every single day.
Okay.
So I look up to you. You're my best friend. You know what I'm saying? And you're the same as me. Well, shit, I look at him. I look up to him, and he's doing it. He's okay. This is my best friend. Look at her. She's doing it. She's okay. Look at her. She's just fine. So I'm pressured by my peers because they're doing it every single day, and my brain is starting to justify it. That's a level of peer pressure as well. And then with the lack of knowledge, we didn't know that an opiate was a receptor that sits in the brain of dopamine. It sits in your office of
Yeah.
dopamine and the rewarding.
Yeah.
We didn't know that it also affects your serotonin levels, which means without it, that's why you feel sick. We didn't know that it could put your brain into a fight or flight, and you'll be going through these active withdrawals, not because you're really fucked up, but because your brain just wants that drug. So that's the only reason why I really wouldn't touch base exactly how exactly it's done. But the way I did do it was I would just use the pure fentanyl
Yeah.
with foil, and that's the way I would do it.
Wow. I definitely I like everything that you just said. It's facts. Like what you spoke about the peer pressure thing in particular, because like you said, we're typically taught the here, do it. But what you said made so much sense because that's typically where the saying "birds of a feather flock together." Because if
Mhm.
you're around it so much, that's peer pressure alone. Because you delete yourself from that type of situation, and that's how you won't experience the peer pressure. But staying around,
And then you start to get curious
yeah,
because I'm
absolutely,
already pressured by you guys because you
absolutely,
guys are doing it all the time.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I watch you guys do it and you guys are just fine,
Yeah.
you know?
And they probably look like they were having fun and living it up. So,
That's the curiousness
yeah,
comes,
absolutely.
right? The pressure is just me being around you, seeing you doing it, and you're just fine. The curiousness comes into seeing what is just fine. Oh, he's happy all the time. Oh, she's always turned up,
Yeah.
or she be high as hell, or she's this. Now I'm curious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why do they
Yeah.
do it? What do it make you feel like? What will it? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's how you get that. Then that's when the
Yeah.
curious comes in. But yeah.
So, what is it that kept you like, so when you're high, but when you come down from that high, you feel bad, right?
Right.
So, in those moments, there, of course, at some point becomes sickness, but also there becomes clarity of this is not fun or to feel this way, not having it. What made you keep going back knowing that it was not good for you?
Well, that's an amazing question, and I would love to answer it because, I'll go ahead and say it just like this. You got to know, I overdosed, right? And within 3 weeks, I was right back doing them. My heart stopped for 15 minutes. By the grace of God, my cousin was going 120 because the hospital was
Wow.
45 minutes away from my house.
Yeah.
We got there by the grace of God in 15 minutes, right? And they come and get me, whatever. It took them, they revived me once in the hospital. I wake up, I'm so baffled because where I was at. And I'm like, where the fuck did I just go? And I just start thinking about it. Hey, your heart just stopped again. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? They charged me back up again with the things, and within 3 weeks I was right back doing it. Knowing my heart had just stopped, knowing that, that literally I couldn't believe it. But you know what it was that made me go back, kept going back to the drug, knowing that it was wrong, knowing it was deadly, knowing I got withdrawals.
Mhm.
It was the lack of wanting to live.
Why?
Like, and I say this in a very testimonial way. Like, when I overdosed, like, I feel like God literally had to, like, literally make my heart stop, and I literally had to be reborn again because the life that I lived, how you're supposed to use that as fuel and all that, it didn't do that to me. And the girl that I was before, I was so broken because of everything that I went through. As a child, it was killing me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was literally killing me. Like, I used to be so sad, so depressed. You know what I mean? Nobody around me knew, but on the inside, I was literally not there. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like one of the things is, wait, what was the question again? Sorry.
No, we were talking, you were answering it, you were talking, I was asking, why did you, like, in that moment of clarity where you know it could harm you, why would you go back to,
Oh, and then what was I saying right before I started talking? Right now?
you were talking about how you went right back out there after knowing
Oh,
God.
yeah. So, I felt like part of that was um I had to be reborn again to let go of that trauma and a lot, well, spiritually in my heart for it just not to be on me, right?
Mhm,
And then I felt like another thing was I just I just really just I guess part of it was self-medicating. And then, I feel like I was trying to fill that void that I had,
mhm.
and it was just really a lack of wanting to live.
Yeah, well,
I
with
was
that being said, did you feel that void with the drugs?
No, and I didn't. And at one point I thought I did, and I felt like in my heart, like I felt like at the end of the day when everybody breaks bad, when everybody leaves, mom's dad, when everybody fucking, you know what I'm saying, leaves, and I used to be outside, like, you know what I'm saying, in the streets, homeless and all that. Like, I felt like it was me and that drug against the world. Like, because I felt like when everybody leaves, it'd only be me in this bag.
Mhm.
And that's how I felt. Like, I
Wow.
genuinely felt like that. And it didn't help me fill the void because what happened was, uh, I'll be honest. What happened was when I right before I got into my addiction with the blues, I was doing the
The
fentanyl
who?
pill, the blues,
The blue?
but I what the blues are the perk 30s
The who?
or the Percocet 30s, the
Oh, okay.
fentanyl pills.
That's the
They're
fentanyl.
called blues,
Okay. So blues
huh?
is a street
But
name?
yeah.
Okay, okay. All right.
So when I was doing the Percocet
All
30s,
right.
my first love at the time had just died from a drug overdose or whatever, but I didn't know at that time that it was. I actually just found out that it was a drug, act like for sure that it was a drug overdose
Mhm.
last year. But part of me really didn't want to know how he died either. I knew how they found him, and that was enough for me. You know what I'm saying? And well, when he died, I fucking filled myself up so much with drugs. I overdosed a month after his funeral.
Wow.
So yeah, his funeral was August 17th. I overdosed September 21st. So I was feeling myself with that void. Like I was filling myself up, right? Now by then, me and this drug is like this. It's a relationship. People don't understand. Once you start doing a drug after a while, that drug was my boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my we was in a relationship, a couple different ones. So
Wow.
over the time, as the time started going on, my brother died. My brother dies August 16th of 2020, last year of 2024.
Sorry to hear that.
And thank you. And what happened was that's when I realized that first of all, no matter like I used to get so high that I would get high and see my first love. I would see Torinjo. I would get so high that like I'd be back where we were.
Like
But when my
literally.
brother died, Yeah,
Like you
literally.
were literally
Like,
in the mind, you were literally there.
yeah, like I now often think like I'd be the fuck somewhere else, where he wasn't, you know, and sometimes I would dream about like which it would just be his spirit visiting, but I'd be, what I'm saying, like so when my brother dies, no matter how high I got, no matter what drug I did, he was gone, you know, and I had to and I had to realize that, I had to, and that was so fucking hard for me because that's when I realized this drug can't fill that void, and that's when I realized the void wasn't filled the whole fucking time. You know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
never was filled. It
Right.
actually it got deeper, you know. So the answer is no, I did not.
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna go back to you mentioned about about the relationships between you and the drug. Explain what that means. Like you were in a relationship with the drug.
Okay, so why I always say that, right? When I say, and let me just explain to me like how I'll get real, real personal and just say me. We're not even gonna do general.
Hmm.
Specifically me and my relationship with drugs. And my fentanyl relationship was just like this.
Hmm.
It was like as if I was in a toxic relationship, right? And with this drug, and that drug was a man. And he was an older man, you know what I'm saying? And spiritually, and what happened was, well, I say it's a toxic relationship because guess what? And you're dating that person because that person that you're dating is gonna come before your kids. It's gonna come before your mama. It's gonna come before your bills. It's gonna come before you. That's the type of relationship it is, you know. And the way you want to look at it is, it's one of the most toxic ones because, and that's what, and it's the truth. Any addict that you've ever met, guess what? It was one point in time, if they are a mother, that there was one point in time they probably knew they needed gas, but instead they got them drugs. Or they knew they needed food, but instead they got them drugs. That goes
Yeah.
back to that relationship. To me, it's like being in a relationship with somebody that you put before everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely understand. Hence the fact that that is definitely not right, which, is an addiction in the worst way. So I definitely can understand that. And I
What's
agree with you on that. When you're in active addiction, you typically at one time or another, if you have not, you will make that type of decision. Like you
Well,
said,
because what happens is you have to understand, number one, and I don't know if you're spiritual, but I am. What you got to understand is when you are doing a drug, number one, you're skating in multiple different realms, depending on the drug that you're doing, right? Me, I'm doing downers, so I'm in a whole nother realm, number one. Number two, you have to understand that when you do drugs, those are doors that are open, right? Just like alcohol, you ever notice every liquor store says spirits and liquor? You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like it's a spiritual thing. That's a realm as well. So
Mhm.
those are doors. And what is a door? You come in and you can come out.
Mhm.
So once you do that drug, you mentally have that door where spirits can come in and out. And guess best believe when you are addicted, baby, you are sitting right next to the devil, damn near. You
Mhm.
know? And what people don't understand is, you know, um, that's fuck, I forgot what I was about to say. 'Cause
But
what was the question again?
you were talking about the doors. You were talking about the doors and the spiritual element of doing drugs.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what I was saying. What people don't understand is with you skating in them different realms, right? You're dancing next to, first of all, you're getting high with the devil, right? So
Mhm.
you got to understand, guess what? Right now, it might be pretty. Right now, you might get high and get finer than a motherfucker. You might get high and feel like you are the moon and the stars, but guess what? What goes up must come down.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what people don't understand is eventually you're going to be put in a predicament that's going to make you feel like you're selling your soul for that drug. Eventually, you're going to have to do something you never said you were going to do for that drug. Eventually, you're going to become a person that you never thought you were going to have to become for that drug.
Yeah.
I don't care if you were the mayor's daughter. I don't care if your mama was rich, your daddy is rich. Guess what? Everybody that does a drug story ends the same fucking way unless they get sober.
I can
You're
wholeheartedly.
gonna sell your soul. You're gonna be in positions like that. That's gonna make you feel like that. Not literally, that's a metaphor.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be in positions that make you feel like, you know, that's just how it is. And that's just what
Yeah.
comes with that.
I 100% agree. What do you feel was your breaking point that led you to sobriety? And was it your first time, second time, third time, or have you stayed sober from the time you started?
Well, my breaking point that made me say, you know what, Dinah, you got to get sober was when my brother died, and I went out there, and it really was, because number one, and I say it, no matter how I had to realize, no matter how high I got, no, no matter how much money I spent on them drugs, he was gone. You know what I'm saying? And it fucked me up so bad because I felt like what it taught me was, you know, because I mentally was like this. I felt like mentally, when I first came down here, because I moved from Minnesota to Texas, right? And from 18, I felt like mentally I was in a desert, a real bad desert. And me and everybody I loved were under a hut,
Mhm.
shelter, you know. And I told them, y'all stay here and I'm gonna go and figure it out and I'm gonna come back for y'all and woo, woo, right? And in the process of me going in that desert blizzard storm, you think of the desert, all this.
Yeah.
When I came back, there were some people that had left. There were some
Yeah.
people that had died. There were some people that can't come no more, you know? And he was one of those people that weren't there. So what happened was it was my breaking point to get sober because I realized, guess what? You spent 4 years doing this drug, thinking you had time, and time don't wait on nobody. And all drugs are, especially downers, are time stealers. Every drug is a time stealer. So, my breaking point was just when he died, and I was getting high, and I was in the spirit, and God and my brother was telling me, "You're next." You know what I'm saying? Like, you're next. Like, it's time for you finna have to get sober. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just what it was. And uh I stood on that. Like, that was just my breaking point. I just basically, when he died, it took all wool over under my eyes, right? So all I could do was look at myself and say, look at this addiction you got. Look at the, you know what I'm saying? And then I just wanted to live for him so much too. And that was just my breaking point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where I realized that I just was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not doing this shit no more. You
Mm.
know? And it was when my brother died. Let me just break this down for y'all real quick. Break a couple uh popular names down, and then I'm gonna break it down. The upper is a drug that makes you have energy, and,
Right.
and the downer is the one that sleep people not off or they're calm. It's like indica and sativa
Right.
type
Okay.
shit.
Hmm.
So I started doing the pure opiates, which was the not the fentanyl, which was just the perks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then I went to fentanyl. You know, I have quit before. So, and that was the rest of the other question. So what happened was I did try to quit once, but I was trying to quit for my boyfriend and my brother. Like, that was my sole reason.
Okay.
I did not want to quit at all. And I just did it for them. That was literally,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna just do it
Yeah.
for them. And I only lasted 2 weeks. And I was doing the Suboxones. I just stopped taking them and I
Mm.
went back because that's what I wanted to do anyways.
What is
And
Suboxone?
that's what people don't understand. You got Suboxone is
Suboxone.
it's a, it's one of the ways that help. It's a opiate blocker,
Okay.
opiate receptor blocker. That's what Suboxone is.
Can you get
It
addicted
helps
to
with the
that
withdrawal
too?
process. Huh?
Can you get addicted to that too?
No.
Okay. 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 So that's
You
a
could abuse anything. Don't get me wrong. And I say this because I went the methadone route or whatever. But what I'm saying is, you can abuse anything. And I tell people this all the time because people try to talk shit about me or
Mhm.
whatever being on the methadone and shit in my
Yeah.
comments. But like I tell people all the time, I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me give you this analogy. I can give you a box of okay, so look, two people.
Mhm.
You come to me and you come to me.
Mhm.
You say both of you guys say y'all have bad allergies, right? Severe allergies.
Correct. Mhm.
I give you a box of Benadryls and I give you a box of Benadryls.
Mhm.
I tell you both, only take one a day.
Mhm.
You listen, right? You only take one a day. You don't. You
Mhm.
take four a day.
Mhm.
Guess what? I come and see you guys in 2 months. You have been nodding off of those Benadryls. You've been able to nod. You've been getting high, and you're also addicted. You, on the other hand, you ain't having to take them. Your allergies, you don't even have that issue. If you do, it's seasonable. You're perfectly fine.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
it's like you can abuse anything. The program works if you work the program.
Correct. That is very true. So methadone is the Suboxone, or that two
No,
different drugs?
it's three different things. It's Subutex, Suboxone, and Methadone. Those are all really good and effective resources for if you are addicted to a drug and you are trying to get off of it. What it's gonna do is it's gonna block the receptors. When you're addicted to specifically a hard drug,
Mhm.
where first of all, the drug is sitting in your brain. Your brain is how you operate and your body moves. So that's the strongest thing right here. Suboxone either comes in an octagon shape pill form or it comes in a film tablet that you place under your tongue or in your cheek and it dissolves. The Subutex, or and it's another name for it as well, but that's the one shot. You take one shot for once a month.
Mhm.
You go to the hospital and you take one shot. And then there's methadone, which comes in liquid form, and you go to a clinic and you have to be dosed or and eventually, you work the program that way. So each all of them are pretty effective. From what I know, Suboxone works for 3 or 4 receptors when there's 9 of them. So it works, that works if you work the program. Subutex, I believe, works for all 9 receptors, and so does methadone. So what it is now what you have to understand is, in order to really get off something, you need to understand it and know exactly what it is. So these hard drugs aren't just like marijuana, which is you could also be addicted to, but it's not just like these drugs that we're doing. These hard drugs isn't just like something that's just a body high. No, it's as well as the mental, right? And it sits right in the office of your dopamine. So that means you don't have to win a race or win the lottery to feel that feeling that you get, which is a happier feeling
Yeah.
or whatever. And then and then you have to think about it. The drug is sitting in your brain. Your brain is how you operate, right? It's the strongest thing on our body.
Mhm.
So it's what it is, the brain. So that drug isn't sitting in your lungs. It's not dissolved in your stomach. Where its main home is in your brain. And the office is the dopamine brain. You want to look at it like the principal. So if the principal doesn't go to school or just all of a sudden stops showing up in the middle of the school year, how do you think the school is going to be ran? You know? So that's what that is. And what happens is your brain gets so used to that feeling, it likes it. It makes it feel good. It makes your body respond better
Yeah.
when it's off of it. So what happens is your brain will put you in a fight or flight when you go without the drug. Your brain is smart and it's listening to you say you're not going to do this drug anymore, you're quitting this day, and it knows that. So what happens is it'll push you in a fight or flight experience, which makes you seem like you have to get it.
Yeah.
And you do, potentially, because that's what your brains make you feel. So what happens is, like for me, I hated the pain. So what my brain would do is it would release the receptors off of the pain, and I would feel that bone marrow that the fentanyl was eating at. I would feel my muscles. The pain. For instance, I had a homegirl. One of her weaknesses was shitting and throwing up at the same time. So every time she went through withdrawals, her brain would make her do that. You know, whatever your withdrawals, whatever
Yeah,
it is that breaks you down, your brain's gonna
yeah.
push you to do it or
Mhm.
whatever for that drug. So what happens is when you do methadone, for instance, because we're getting pretty personal, specifically with me, methadone does sits right in the same office
Mhm.
that that hard drug sat in.
Mhm.
It sits in that same office and says, guess what? Fuck your principal. I'm the new sheriff in town. You're not getting this.
Right.
Take this, and they silence it. So now you're not hearing, go get this drug. I need this drug. Go get this drug. I need this drug. Oh my God, I got fuck. You're not hearing anything because it's blocking it. That's what it is. So methadone is an opiate blocker, and uh, it blocks the all nine receptors. And yeah,
So methadone blocks all nine.
yeah.
So if that is the case,
Mhm.
it has to be deeper some kind of way. If that is the case, because I understand, like you said, not having it, the fear of not having it is worse than trying to get clean because of what you have to go
Yeah,
through. So,
yeah, that's right. Well, and
what-
your brain's making you feel like it's making it seem like it's worse than what it's about to be.
exactly. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's where that
That's
fear
what the
goes in.
brain
So
is
what?
telling you.
Yeah.
I wonder why a lot of people relapse when they're on methadone, when they're on these medications, and they
Oh, do you know why? Because their mind was never made up. They didn't really want to get sober.
hence the fact, exactly.
No, 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 that's all it is. Because
That's
guess
oh, you're
what?
right.
Because all
Absolutely.
it is
Yeah.
guess what? When you first get on methadone, you
Hmm.
have to dose and figure out what it is the amount you need for your body, right? So that means the very first time you go, they're not about to give you 50 milligrams. They have to start you down low and wean you up. Same way as when you get off of it, right? Okay, well check this out. If I am doing the methadone, I'm not getting high, so everything that I was running from is here.
Yeah.
And people don't be wanting that. People don't really be wanting to get sober for real.
Yeah.
They just be tired of being tired, or they're just broke that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like that's literally be the main two things. Like they just either just have to be just tired that day, or they just broke. They a lot of people don't really once they get sober, they don't really be wanting to get sober because they don't really want to deal with that
Yeah.
shit.
Absolutely.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's
And
a big wave of emotion, you know. But when you make the decision, you'll do it because when I got sober the first time and I was taking the Suboxones, I didn't really want to get sober. I was just doing it for my boyfriend at the time and my
as you
siblings.
said,
I
hmm,
just flew my brother down here. He was dependent on me. Like
yeah.
that was the sole reason. And guess what? I just stopped taking the Suboxones and I relapsed. But this time, so I don't count that time as quitting because I didn't really want to quit from the jump.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I speak on it. But guess what? My brother's birthday was March 31st. My sobriety date is when because it took me 4 tries to even get admitted into my treatment. I
Okay.
went there 4 days in a row and it just wasn't, like you gotta want it, you know?
Yeah. As
And
you do.
the last time I ever did fentanyl was April 3rd, and I have not touched it since.
Yeah.
There's been times I missed the methadone clinic and I didn't even have no methadone. I didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
I had money in my pocket. I was right in the hood and
Right.
didn't relax. You know what I'm saying? Because my mind was made
Mhm.
up.
Yeah, and I do agree with that because when I watch people relapse, I've always felt that that is something that you have to want. You can't do it from your for your mother or because your family's begging you.
But what people don't understand is you can, but it can't be the first.
It
reason, and it
should
can't
not
be
be
the
the
only
first
reason.
reason. It should not, because
So,
it has to be
because I
you.
feel like in order to get sober, and I say it all the time, getting sober is one thing, staying sober is another.
Yeah,
In order to get sober, in order to get sober, you have to get sober for you.
absolutely.
But in order to stay sober, you can stay sober for your mom. You
Yes,
can stay
but you have to
sober for
do
your
it for
kids.
you.
You can stay sober
Mhm.
for your grandma, but you had to get sober for you first.
Absolutely.
You know,
That
think
is
about it. It's
true.
365 days out the year. You damn near gotta have 365 reasons to stay sober. So, but that first reason always has to be you. But right under that, it could be your boyfriend. Right under that, it could be your
Or
mama. Right under, because
whatever.
you're going to need them reasons. It's
Yeah.
going to be some days where that first reason might not be enough.
Mhm.
Some days that first reason was enough, but guess what? Your first reason, which was you, your second reason, which was your kids, your third reason, which was your grandma, is enough. And today you sober
Yeah.
too. And then
Yeah.
tomorrow, just your first reason was enough.
Yeah.
And the day after that, reason 25 is why you stay sober. You know? Like, you gotta have 365 reasons.
Which is good. I mean, that's really good. I like the way you're putting it. I love the analogies. Love the way you're putting it. Breaking things down. That is very true. And I mean, to those out there that are struggling, like, you know what she's talking about because you all have actually experienced it. Maybe not the same,
Right.
but
And you
like
are
you
not
said,
alone.
some paths. All of you all cross those same paths along the
And
journey.
and and and, and even the people that and yeah, and I'll say this for the people that specifically have done drugs, know exactly what I'm talking about. The family members and the daughters and the spouses and the kids of people of drug addicts know exactly what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
the people who have never done drugs but have been addicted to a man, have been addicted to a woman, been
Right.
addicted to an object, been addicted to porn, been addicted to abuse, been addicted to whatever, also know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Real talk.
Yeah, addiction is addiction, nevertheless. So I
Real talk.
completely agree with that. What are some triggers that you have dealt with that because I know it's an ongoing
Battle.
battle with it, right? What are some triggers that you have that make you feel as if you could slip?
So I'll be honest. I can't speak of any as at this moment. And the reason why is because at one point, okay, so my grandpa had just died in December, right? And that honestly was almost a reason, almost could have gave me my very first reason why. And it was just because that was how I always coped with deaths was with drugs. You
Mhm.
know? So I almost ran to him because that was like how I always did it. But I didn't because by the grace of God, my counselor had taught me about relapse justification.
Mhm.
Now, relapse justification, let me just go ahead and school y'all real quick.
You good, girl.
Look,
I like
once a person decides not to use drugs anymore, how does he or she end up using again? Do relapse happen completely by accident, or are there warning signs and ways to avoid relapse? Relapse justification is a process that happens in people's minds. A person may have decided to stop using, but the person's brain is still healing and still feels the need for the substances. The addicted brain invents excuses that allow the person in recovery to edge close enough to relapse. Situations that accidents can happen. You may remember a time when you intended to stay substance free, but you invented a justification for using. Then before you know it, you had used again. So that was my little introduction for y'all.
that was
And then
right. I
let me
like
give you some examples for you guys that I had wanted to share for this
it.
thing. So I had said, okay, so let me get these are the three. Now, that was just my introduction. Now, let me give you three different reasons for relapse justification and why I don't have any triggers because I am able to identify them with this exact blueprint that I've been working on. So it says the first way that your brain justifies you before you relapse is someone else's fault. So I'm gonna say it again. The first reason that your brain justifies it is someone else's fault. Does your addictive brain ever convince you that you had no choice but to use? Does an unexpected situation catch you off guard? Have you ever said any of the following? An old friend called and we decided to get together. I had friends come for dinner and they brought me some wine. I was in a bar and someone offered me a beer. Those are all reasons why someone who said they weren't doing anymore did it because it was someone else's fault, right?
Yeah, yeah,
An old friend called and we decided to get together, so that was their fault why I got high. I had some friends come for dinner and they brought me some wine, so I drunk because it was their fault because they brought it.
yeah,
I was in a bar and someone offered me a beer. It was their fault because they offered it to me. So the next reason is that's one justification. The second justification is like like a catastrophe event, like
yeah,
is there one unlikely major event that is the only reason you would use, and every addict should always think about this.
yeah.
What is one like a catastrophe event that would be the only reason you would use? Let me give you a couple. My spouse left me. There's no reason to stay clean anymore. I just got injured. It ruined all of my plans. I might as well use. I just lost my job. Why not use? Those are three of them. And then I had, oh yeah, these are some other I wrote down. There was a death in the family. I can't get through this without using. That was my main. Remember I said
Yeah, that
my
was your granddad. Mm-hmm.
that would be the only reason, remember, for a death. See, so yeah, but I didn't. But anyway,
Right.
so yeah, those are all ones that I said was like a catastrophe
Mhm.
event, which would be your spouse leaving you. You know what I mean? So now you feel like, okay, there's no reason to stay clean. I just got injured and ruined all my plans. I might as well use.
Absolutely.
I just lost my job. Why not use? There was a death in the family. I can't get through this without using. And then the last one would be for a specific purpose. Was your addicted brain ever suggested that using drugs or alcohol is the only way to accomplish something? I'm gaining weight and need stimulants to control my weight.
Mhm.
I'm out of energy. I'll function better if I use.
Yeah.
I need drugs to meet people more easily. I can't enjoy sex without using. And what it is, and then one more justification would be, which is just the last one, would be depression, anger, loneliness, and fear. Does feeling depressed, angry, lonely, or afraid make using seem like the answer?
Yeah.
I'm depressed. What difference does it make whether I use? When I get mad enough, I can't control what I do. That's why I use.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I know if I use, the feeling will go away. If my partner thinks I used, I might as well. You know, those are all like
Yeah.
different, like
And that
relapse
comes from
justification. That's why I don't go ahead.
no, no. I was going to say, so that comes from you going to counseling, right?
Yeah.
That's
And
what,
then also doing my own research.
as you're talking and the way that you are giving analogies, the explanation behind things, the psychological aspect behind it. Like, I feel that, and I don't know if that's the path that you want to take, but you need to be helping the next person. Like, I know you're already doing that with your story, with your testimony, and that's why I invited you as well. Like, but the way you speak about it, like
Hmm.
you should think about doing something in this field with
Really?
helping recovering, in my opinion, because I think
That's
you speak
that.
really good on it. Yeah, I there's something about it that like really resonates with me when you talk. Like and I believe that, and one thing about it, I do believe that, and I know a lot of recovering addicts are become the therapist and become the I forgot what they're called, your sponsors, or I don't know if they still call them
Mhm.
sponsors. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are called sponsors.
so I know a lot of them because I mean, who better who better to relate to than somebody who has been down that path and experienced
That's right.
some, if not all, of the things you experience. So I think that I think you should definitely look into that.
Because I feel like outside looking in, like that's deep that you see that, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. What made you decide to come online and share your story?
To be honest, so where I'm from in Minnesota, a lot of people know me, and a lot of people used to always throw in my face like when I'd get into it with females. Oh, well, I told you, like, first of all, when we were doing the perks, like we thought the fentanyl pills, we thought they were actually perks.
Mm,
So we would make a status and be like, "Who got perk 30s?" You know, we didn't know they were fentanyl, and didn't nobody like before fentanyl had the name on it, it was cool. So, like, once people started seeing what fentanyl does, girls I would get into it with would be like, "Oh, you know, you do fetty, oh, you're a crackhead, da da da." So a lot of people already knew, you know, where I'm from, that I did
mm.
booze, you know?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And so,
And so they had already knew. So when I decided to, and like my family and friends and all that had knew, and then it was like rumors. You know what I'm saying? People had already kind of knew. Like I said, I used to at one point I used to make statuses like who got him. So what happened was when I finally got sober for Fat Boy for my brother's birthday, I had made a status on Facebook like, you know what, I'm finna go on ahead. If you know, you know. If you don't, I've been struggling with this addiction. I'm about to quit. Like, because I was just going through a lot. I just like if I could need like just some encouragement or whatever. And
yeah,
I was on Facebook. And I made the status, and then I just used to be, because I was always a Facebook person. I always was a big poster, anyways, though. Like, I've been posting my life and stuff. And I had basically ended up posting my videos because I was making these little recovery videos when I used to be taking the bus to treatment just for myself. They're my diaries. And I just started posting them on my Facebook, and my cousin and my sister just kept telling me like you need to get on TikTok. Like,
mhm,
mind you, I thought TikTok was like just for like dancers. I'm not a big dancer or nothing
yeah,
and all that. So I had TikTok on my phone, but I just would scroll. Like, I never made an
yeah,
account. I made one account and made one video, never logged back on, forgot the password. You know what I'm saying? So I never used to be on here.
yeah.
Like, and then I'm the type of person, like, if everybody's hyping something up, I don't want to do it. Like, you know
Okay.
what I mean? And
Mhm.
everybody was just all going crazy over TikTok. So I just did not make a TikTok account solely for that reason. Like,
Right.
everybody was just, I'm that, like, if everyone's going crazy about this ice cream, I'm gonna wait till it dies down to try
Yeah,
it.
and
Like,
then you'll partake. Yeah.
yeah. So but finally, they just kept telling me, like, girl, you need to post these videos on TikTok. And I made this account in August, and here
Wow.
I am.
And you're getting it. I mean, you need to keep doing it, keep telling your story. I know you're helping people out telling your story, and please keep
Amen.
doing it.
Amen.
Yes. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
You can follow me on TikTok at Sober Girl Dyna. That is SOBERDYNA. Oh, I meant to say SOBERGIRLDYNA. So that's Sober Girl Dinah. And it's all together. And that's the only app I'm using right now is TikTok.
Awesome, awesome. Y'all follow her. When I tell you, again, you already know, and I say this in a lot of videos, that I'm particular about who I invite. So she was one of those that really, her story really got to me and made me want to share her.
And I was gonna ask you what made you invite me.
Listening to your page,
Oh,
listening
I
to
appreciate that.
yeah,
I'm honored.
yeah, watching your page rather than listening to. I guess they're called clips. I don't know, on TikTok
Yeah.
the stories.
Girl, I just
Yeah.
told you I just got here in August. I'm new to it, child.
Yeah, that really got to me. I'm like, all right, I feel like her story needs to be out there. Like this is deep. So I that's what made me invite you, and I'm glad you accepted. I support you. Guys, go follow her and support her in her journey. I know that you all once you watch this, you'll be proud of her too, a young black woman doing her thing.
I
You know?
just made 9 months sober. This is my 9 month sobriety
Right,
ticket
right. And I'm
certificate. I just made 9 months sober on the 4th after 5 years. No substances. Fentanyl was my favorite drug of choice at the time, but I ventured off and did all of them. And now I am only Cali sober, so I am marijuana friendly, but I don't do any drug, and I'm 9 months sober. So I just want to
congratulations.
share that with y'all, and
As you
you guys
should.
can follow me.
As you should. I have one last question before I let you go for the evening.
Of course.
Will you promise to always spread peace and love in this world?
Yes, I do.
That's what's up.
Thank you. And I just wanted to, right before I go, I just wanted to tell you I appreciate you so much. This is my first interview and about like this type of stuff. And I hope this opportunity we're both able to get a lot of recognition and this be able to be a big stepping stone for the both of us. I got deja vu
I
twice
appreciate you. Ah,
spiritually. The fact that you were able to book this with me and come 2 weeks later, remember that was very professional. Your vibe was so understanding.
thank you.
Like, I just really appreciate that. I've got nothing but a professional, caring, real vibe, authentic vibe from you. And I feel honored that you invited me. I think this is going to be a good collab. And I hope we be able to collab
Many
more and
more,
talk about
possibly.
more
Yeah.
things. Hear
Who
people
knows?
like me.
Right. That's right. You never know. I appreciate that. I do. I really do appreciate your words as well.